Protect yourself and your family from unexpected challenges. Consider accident-only income protection. Click the link in the description to find out more.
Hey, Greg, you wish for a little more action?
I do wish for more action, Mike.
As you wish, Greg.
Now this is nice.
You got 2 wishes left.
Boxing King Media in association with the Riyadh season. Delighted to be joined by Alex Krassyuk. Alex, welcome to Saudi Arabia.
It's my pleasure to come back here. Absolutely nice. I've been here half a year ago, here in Riyadh, and some strong changes took place. And people, when I was at the reception for check-in, and the guys told me that, listen, you've been here 6 months ago. Oh, you will not just recognize the places. And I see that a lot of things change here. It's growing so fast.
You're probably the best person to say that, because obviously I've been trying to promote what there is to do in Riyadh. Obviously you've been to Dubai before. It's very similar to that. It's moving really quickly. You've been to the Boulevard, haven't you?
Not yet, not yet, but I was recommended to attend it.
Okay. You seen all the build-up for this fight this week? You've seen the kind of stuff they've been showing?
That's the first time in the history you can be witnessing that. You've never seen that before, and I doubt you can hardly see something like this in the future. Maybe for the big fight that's coming next.
Well, we're going to jump straight into that, because everyone that's clicking on this video is dying to know how this fight got made. So you've obviously played up your role in making the biggest fight potentially in boxing history, but it's the biggest fight that could be made right now. So I've just got to ask you initially, Alex, in your own words, how on earth did this fight get put together?
Well, let's start with that it hasn't happened yet. This is number one, because we've been close to it for so many times. But for me, being for almost 20 years in boxing, the fight is happening when the bell rings. This is the time when I get relaxed. Before that, it's coming closer, but it's not yet the fight.
In fact, I'm going to pause you, because it's my fault. I was actually going to ask you before we got to how the fight got made. You was promoted by, you had like a promotional deal with Alexander prior to this fight getting made. It appears that wasn't the case anymore. Could you just explain and just let the fans know what happened there? Was it a split, or did you part mutually with the previous co-promoters?
You mean with Eddie Hearn?
No, a skill challenge.
Ah, okay. No, we are friends. Our relations were built on friendship, on goodwill. And we are really grateful to our friend Prince Khalid and Skill Challenge for what they've done. We had the plans they had actually the plans to put a big fight together, and that was actually the part of our deal. So we work, they deliver, and we fight. But now the fight is happening anyway. So we did not split. We stay in very close relations with the guys.
All right. Okay. So it's like a mutually agreed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And then let's move on to I interrupted you there. So you guys, am I right in saying you was made the approach by Team Fury? Just explain to us how that approach came about, and when you first found out, right, this fight is back on.
Everything you heard from Spencer Brown, is 100% transparent and true. Everything that he mentioned is as it actually happened. So he got in touch with Aegis Klimas. He said that they are already doing something with people from Saudi, with His Excellency, and they started to communicate, and then we jumped in and put all things together.
Interesting. I'm guessing it was a lot more complicated than that. So. Because initially when the fight when it broke down, there was a lot of talk of 70-30s and 75-25s, all this percentage talk. So just explain to us how we went from that to the fight getting made in 4 hours, because that just doesn't even sound normal.
Okay, so when it comes to the split, it means that the show itself is generating some income, and then this income is divided between the parties. The other case is when someone is taking responsibility for the show and enjoying all the benefits of the show. Then he makes offers to the people who participate, who take part in the show, and the show is happening. So these are two different approaches. When you're generating it from the market or you're generating from a different source, having some, let's say, different ideas in mind how to use the result of the show. So in this case, we had quite easy negotiations with seller, and we put everything on the table as we always do, and we reached the agreement quite quickly. We signed everything, and we did celebrate that the fight is so close to take place.
That's interesting. That so just clarifying on the agreement side of things. So am I right in saying you go to seller or the kingdom? Mr. Turki Al Sheikh's team, you negotiate what you feel is the best price for you, and then Tyson does his own separate deal. Is that pretty much how it works?
Yeah, that's exactly how it works.
Okay. And what if there was a scenario, I'm just thinking outside the box here, do you know what Tyson's getting, or does he know what you're getting?
Let's say we have no official information on how much Tyson is getting, and I'm pretty sure that Tyson is not quite aware of what Usyk is getting.
Okay. And if there ever was a situation, because I'm guessing that stops, say for example, Tyson got £1,000 and you was getting 500, and you find out, then that stops you going, well, hang on a minute, he's getting 1,000, but we've got these belts, etc. Does it stop that from happening?
We are not that kind of people.
Okay.
We are here for the glory, for the heritage, for the legacy. It means that our objective is to reach all the heights in boxing. Normally when you achieve this, money is something that comes aside. But answering your question is if we are happy, it means that we sign the deal. When we sign the deal, it means we give our word, because signing is like a formal procedure of shaking hand. When we shake hands, we keep our word. So whatever happens out of this deal, we have actually no concern about it. When we signed it, it means that inside our team, we agreed on everything, we gave our consent. It means we go with this direction, and we don't care much who's getting what and for how much, and etc., etc.
That clarifies a lot of things, because a lot of people still online think, who's getting what percentage? So there is no such thing as a percentage. You get what you negotiate, which is interesting. And then the other part of the deal, which it's not very clear, is the date from Tyson's team and the people in Saudi. It suggested December 23rd, but we've seen Alexander do a couple of interviews and suggest he may not be ready for that date. So can you tell us, are you aiming for 23rd of December?
First thing is that I've never watched any interview where Usyk mentioned that he's not ready for December 23.
Was it the Ukrainian station?
There was only one interview that took place like a couple of weeks ago where Usyk mentioned, when he was asked the question, how long does his training camp usually last, and he said that it's might be around 14 weeks because it includes 3 stages. The first stage, the physical conditioning training, which is the hardest and the longest, then the boxing school together with sparring, and then on the hard sparring session. So it's three parts, and in general it's 14 weeks. If you are having, let's say, remember Usyk had only 1 fight per year within the last 3-4 years. It means that after 1 year of break, he has to come back, and he needs to start conditioning. He needs to continue with sparring, and then with hard sparring. Now Usyk is coming from the previous fight. So the first and the hardest stage can be missed because he's in shape, and he's been keeping the shape since he walked out of the ring. So it saves us a lot of time, and that's why we gave our consent actually for December 23, because according to our timing, it's absolutely convenient. Our biggest concern was Tyson, because we are people from boxing, we know how things are managed inside the training camp. And our concern was, will he be ready if he's coming off the fight? Let's say he's victorious. Let's say, of course, he is victorious on Saturday night. But what happens next? After he's victorious, will he go to the training camp on Monday? I doubt. So he will have to celebrate. He will have to enjoy the fame, the glory. It might take some time, maybe a week, maybe 10 days, and he's left with a very short passage of time for getting ready to USYK. And that's what we are actually considering. That's what we are, I can't say we are afraid of, but this is the thing that we are not 100% comfortable.
Well, Spencer Brown, when I spoke to him, Tyson's manager, he said we're 100% going for that date unless there's a cut or serious injury. So it appears they're going to go with that date. And if it does happen, so I'm assuming you're going to go with that date as well, yeah, just to confirm that.
Yeah, we have it on paper.
Okay, that's great. And then, you know, if the rematch, which they've confirmed there is a rematch clause in this, is from your side, does that rematch happen no matter who wins?
Yes, exactly. I tell you why. This fight has been cooking for so long, and the whole world wants to see those two guys. And normally, when you have, let's say, Avatar movie, the sequel comes next. Why? Because the first was the boom. The second should be the boom as well. So, keeping this scenario, we have this in mind that people want to watch it. And if people want to watch it, that's who we are working for the fans. And that's why bringing two fights of that sort will be something extraordinary for boxing, for the world of boxing in general. That's why I think it's a very smart idea to have it settled before the first fight takes place.
And do you know when the potential rematch might happen? Would it happen before the end of this Riyadh season, which is like March time?
Well, I don't think March time is something that looks realistic. But let's say normally the rematch takes place within 6, maybe 9 months, maybe 5 months. It depends. We did not settle the time for the rematch because you cannot actually plan it. Even this fight on the 23rd is still a subject for the Saturday night. But we'll see. Anyway, if everyone wants to see this fight, and especially when two fighters want this fight to take place, then it will definitely happen no matter what.
And just on that point that the both fighters want this fight to take place, is it worth just clarifying, because we've seen a lot of accusations, both sides, you know, people saying he's pulled out the fight, saying Tyson's ducking him, and then they're saying, no, Usyk's the guy that pulled out the negotiations. Is it fair to say both of them are modern day greats and we're going to find out who's the best because they both want to fight each other, and the reason it didn't happen before, it appears, was basically you just couldn't negotiate financially what you felt you was worth on the time?
Listen, when you have the result, you don't care much about the means you've reached the result. But I can share my personal thoughts about this. Until now, I don't think Tyson Fury wants to fight Alexander Usyk. He is forced to fight Alexander Usyk because the deal he was offered, is so attractive that he can't help accepting it. So, and the deal says that you can get this amount of money if you fight the unified heavyweight champion Alexander Usyk. So this is the only condition. And if you have no other alternatives and you want to get this huge amount of money, then you have to give your consent. But Tyson is not just a great champion, not just a great fighter, but he's also very smart. He has an extended knowledge of boxing. He's like an expert in boxing. We've seen that before when he's on the history of boxing, on analyzing the capacity of the fighters. And he knows for sure that Usyk is the biggest threat for him, physically, because he's a southpaw. He's extremely active on the footwork. He has very high boxing IQ. It means that he can invent things inside the fight. He is very disciplined. This is the huge advantage. And he is very goal-oriented, and he has a big heart. I would say big balls and big heart, both. He showed it in the previous fights. Let's remember the rematch with Anthony Joshua, round number 9. Everyone was witnessing that Usyk is a tough guy to deal with. And it makes you feel scary. You can keep it, you can hide it inside yourself, but you cannot lie to yourself. Of course, it's a threat. It doesn't mean that it's 100-0 chance. Of course, no. For me, it's a 50-50 fight. Tyson has strong advantages. He's skilled, he's strong, he's big. His body is like different to what we normally used to see in the champions. But he's smart as the guy, as the boxer, and he knows how to act in the ring.
You know the counter argument to what you're saying there, because I read a lot of stuff what people say online, and so the initial thing you said there that he didn't want to fight Usyk because he's concerned that it's a risky fight. Do you think Wilder, when he came back from losing all that weight, would have been a harder fight at that time, or do you think Usyk's a harder fight now that he's active? Wilder? When he fought Wilder when he came back from losing 10 stone, do you think that was harder to come back to, or do you think fighting Usyk whilst he's active is harder?
Your question is whether it's harder for Tyson to fight Wilder for the fourth time?
No. When Tyson came back from his weight loss, and he fought Wilder, at that time a lot of people thought it was a high risk fight for somebody who's not overly active, lost a lot of weight, and obviously you suggested that maybe he didn't want to fight Usyk. So what I'm saying is, would that situation would have been harder looking at it from the outside? So there you got me.
Two different conditions. So Tyson was coming out from a hard time of his life. No one knew what was on his mind. How oriented was he? What was his mindset? Was he really back, or was he still around, like not concentrated, not focused? And that was a point. Because Wilder is, let's say, from the boxing point of view, he's nothing special. He's not a big technician. He's not, hasn't got like, he's not well conditioned. He has a hard punch, and if he lands a punch, then it's night time already for everyone. And it really happened in the fight. So Tyson was almost out. For 9 seconds, let's say for 8 seconds, he was sleeping. It means that the guy has the punch. But he showed that he has balls, and he has something stronger than just boxing skill.
So you reckon it's the skill aspect that he'll be more concerned about?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then with regards to, again...
Excuse me, let me specify. A punch is like winning a jackpot. Well, maybe the chances are bigger, but it's still, you are waiting for something that might not take place. And if it does, then you are lucky. If it does not, then you lost. Let's say Wilder was fighting the Cuban guy. He was losing the fight, but he landed the punch and he won. Let's imagine he doesn't land the punch. So he loses on points, easy. So he was lucky to win. Lucky punch. With Usyk, it's different because Usyk is building up his victory every second. From round to round, his strategy is to win a round. So to win a fight, you have to win more than 6 rounds inside the distance. So winning every round by round gets you to the point where you are victorious. If you are lucky and a lucky punch comes on your way and you land it, then you win inside the distance. Then you were lucky. Bravo. KO. If you are not, you are still a winner because you worked hard to build your victory throughout 12 rounds. And that's the difference.
Okay. And then just the final thing on that, I know you said that they were forced into it because the offer was that big. Could that argument be played for both sides, of both fighters being made a humongous offer that neither fighter could refuse this time and just sign the contract?
But it cannot be used as the final argument because we were ready to fight Tyson even in London. Usyk accepted even this 70 to 30 split. He just had some small conditions, but Tyson did not accept the conditions. That's why it didn't take place in London. And probably whatever happens, this happens for the reason. And God knows what he's doing. That's why maybe that was not the right time for it to happen. Because now we are approaching something extraordinary, something really, really big.
You definitely are. And then how easy was it to deal with Spencer Brown, Tyson's manager? I think you met with him in New York, and then I think you guys met in London and got it all signed.
I met him first on Tyson's fight with Chisora, I think. Okay. Yeah, it was a Chisora fight. We even had pictures on Instagram. But I didn't realize that was Tyson, or that was Tyson's manager. Yeah, he's a nice man, absolutely great, very honest, very transparent, intelligent. It was a pleasure to deal with these people.
Yeah, straightforward businessman. I think a lot of people have kind of said that from after the interview did the other day. And then the situation with Daniel Dubois, can I just ask, is that because I've seen the appeal got rejected by the WBA? However, it seems like I think Frank Warren said in an interview that he's going to appeal the that. Is there anything going to come from that?
Do you want me to answer like in English? Crap! This is bullshit. This has never happened. Or just analytics that this appeal did not have a single chance, even before it was given to WBA. Because from the point of view, from the point of the common reason, there was nothing to appeal for. There was a low blow, and the referee took a decision immediately after the blow. He didn't take a break for 3 seconds to take the decision. He took it immediately because he was standing right in front of the blow, and he saw that it was a low blow. And the reaction of Usyk only confirmed his initial decision. And he gave him, according to the rules, the referee, after the low blow, can give up to 5 minutes for the fighter to recover and ask him a question. Are you ready to come back? So he was acting inside the field of the rules. So the appeal should say that the referee was not right, but he was. So it's an attempt to prove something, maybe from promoter to the fighter, that promoter stands his ground, he's fighting for the fighter, let's say, out of the ring. And that is something that is good, and I don't know, maybe if I was at their place, maybe I would also try to appeal, try to reach something. But from the point of common reason, it has no chance.
And just to conclude on Tyson and Alexander fighting each other, I'll let you, as Alexander's promoter, to just a message to the fans to enjoy watching two undefeated fighters of this era. However the fights got made, whoever didn't want it, whoever wants it, the fact they're going to see two great heavyweights go toe-to-toe and find out who's the best.
Listen, we are now making the history. Or we can say we are witnessing the history in the making. This is the biggest fight in the new era of heavyweights. 4 belts, 2 undefeated champions. A champion is fighting the champion. One of them is the former cruiserweight undisputed champion. He's also the Olympic champion. And the guy who claims himself the lineal champion. You can't find anything similar in the world. You cannot miss it. Even if you have no idea about boxing, you're still gonna be watching it. Trust me, this is something that even myself cannot imagine how it will happen. I mean, it's just a miracle that this fight is happening.
And miracles do sometimes happen. And before I let you go, I just want to get your views and thoughts on the Ready to Fight project. It's starting to get about, more fans are finding out about the project, and there's a lot of things coming, and it's a brilliant way to connect the boxing community, whether you're a trainer, manager, fan, wherever. I just want you to tell the fans a little bit about that.
I'll tell you a story from when I was a student at the university, and that was, let's say, end of 90s, beginning of 2000. And by that time, the internet in Ukraine was not that much developed, and the computer science was only introduced, like 5, maybe 10 years introduced to the education. And I remember I had my first email account on hotmail.com. And after I registered my first email account, I started to receive some funny messages, like spam messages. And there was a message from Facebook. Well, I opened the message and I read, "Oh, connect with people you've missed in your life, who you didn't see for a long time, and find them on the platform." I read it twice, 3 times, and I was like, what the hell? Is it a scam or what's happening? Why should I register and give my credentials there? What's happening? And then, year by year, Facebook got to the point where it is now, one of the biggest companies in the world. So this is something that's happening now with Ready to Fight. This platform is developing inside the world of boxing. And it's bringing the attention of fighters, of trainers, of managers, of promoters, of people who are involved in boxing, because this is a place that unites people while they are doing their job, and it helps them generate the profit. Just doing their day-to-day job, people start getting paid for it, no matter what. You are active on your platform and you are getting paid for it. So it's an incentive for guys, for the representatives of the boxing industry to jump in, because this company is one of the fastest growing, especially inside boxing world, is probably the fastest growing company. But if I start to explain, get there because you will see this and you will find this, it won't work. The best way is to download the application, or just go to the website and experience it on your own, how it works. I think there's going to be hardly anyone found who will just skip it and leave it as it is. No, I'm pretty sure most of the people will get their accounts there and will stay active inside this platform.
Well, it is an exciting project, and at Boxing King Media, we're proud to be partnered up with the Ready to Fight platform. I will put a link up for the website in the description if anybody wants more information, because there's loads more. We could sit here and talk about it for hours. So Alex, appreciate your time. I look forward to seeing Alexander. I believe he lands in an hour or so.
Yeah, absolutely. It was my pleasure, Will. Always a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Protect yourself and your family from unexpected challenges. Consider accident-only income protection. Click the link in the description to find out more.